Pittsburgh. Last year we watched the Texans start off 0-3 and everyone wrote them off. They won 11 straight games. They went to the playoffs. They actually won their division and had a home playoff game. I think it's very possible the Steelers can still dig themselves out of this. They didn't play well last week, and yet they were in it to the very end. They did cause 5 turnovers. So I think the defense is getting better, and I think Minkah Fitzpatrick was an excellent addition. When it all comes down to it, Mike Tomlin's been there. He's been there. He can look at his guys and say, I have done this. I have won a ring. Whether or not it's ancient history or not, there's experience. There's a championship ring in there. And although the quarterback is still going to have some growing pains, I think there were enough signs of life. He hit Deontay Johnson on that big pass. I believe the Steelers can still do this. I honestly do. And I think Monday night, at home, a win over a division rival, suddenly you're 1-3. Who knows if it happens with the Ravens and Browns? And I got to be honest, if the Bengals are 0-4, they might be done also. So Steelers, very alive in the AFC North.
It's funny that you're going with the Steelers because I'm going with the Bengals. I feel like with what they've done this season, you can't help but to have hope. I actually picked them last week as my upset over the Bills, and it just didn't happen. Almost beat the Bills, though. Close game. Their defense plays well. Let's take it back to the first game of the season. Andy Dalton puts up over 400 yards, career high with Zach Taylor, new head coach, new offense. In Seattle, they're buzzing. They lose by 1 point to the Seahawks. Then they get smoked by the Niners. And then, as I mentioned, they lose a close one to the Bills. Their opponents this year, 8-1. So they're losing to good teams. A couple of those teams are undefeated. Yeah. So I know there's no silver lining when you're 0-3. But if you look at the games, especially the first one and the last one, if you're the Bengals, you're saying, you know what, guys? We got a good team. We just got to piece it together for 4 quarters. So I feel like the Bengals could go out there and take one up against a very wounded team in the Steelers. And I'm not just talking about physically. I feel like the most wounded team mentally and spiritually is the Pittsburgh Steelers. And as a football player, and Kyle Brandt, you know, when there's something going on internally with the squad, that's almost easier than beating a team that's banged up. And I feel like the Bengals have a chance in this.
But if they get AJ back, too, eventually, that'll be a huge piece for them.
No kidding. And I'd love to see it. There's nothing more exciting than someone comes from the back of the pack, like pennant race style. I just don't see it with any of these teams. My answer is none of them. Because
none?
I think you need a special quarterback. Like Peter, Deshaun Watson with the Texans, he's a star. They were 0-3. The Colts were 1-5. Andrew Luck played like an MVP the rest of the year. I don't see that guy unless Mason Rudolph flips this crazy switch. The only one I'll take a shot on, I'll throw a Hail Mary. If Jay Gruden comes out today and says we're making a change at quarterback, and Dwayne Haskins just has it. I mean, he has it like the second he hits the field and is like, wow, we got a star here. Maybe them. But you need something really special at quarterback specifically. I love Andy Dalton, Case Keenum, some of these guys. Joe Flacco, I just don't see it unless something crazy happens in Washington.
But in that division with the Eagles, what are you saying about the
9-7. Eagles playing a playoff game tomorrow night, Kate.
Ooh, they certainly do.